Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance is a turn-based JRPG. Basically, you get to explore a post-apocalyptic Tokyo filled with supernatural beings and demons that you'll have to fight, or, get this, negotiate with the demons and recruit them to your team. Recruiting demons is such an awesome system.
Nice to meet you!
Okay, so previously I enjoyed Shin Megami Tensei V on the Nintendo Switch. I spoke about it, but I didn't do a full review. So when this was announced to be getting re-released in 4K 60 FPS with, quote, 75 hours of additional content, I was on it like a Fortnite kid snorting V-Bucks.
Strike!
Godborn difficulty complete, every ending acquired, and the most brutal and stressful of them all, I recruited every demon in the game with a 100% compendium. I'll talk more about the path to 100% completion later in the video, but for now I am ready to talk about Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance. Let's get into it!
Young man, if you wish to live, take my hand.
Okay, so starting this up, you get to choose between the original Shin Megami Tensei V campaign with enhancements and quality of life changes, or Vengeance, a new modern campaign with some new areas, characters, bosses, and massive story changes. For newcomers, I think I'd recommend the Vengeance campaign, and if you really liked it, then you can still play the original campaign afterwards to see the alternative story. You make this choice by choosing whether or not to awaken this sleeping girl, Yoko. If you awaken her, she becomes a major part of the story, and her existence is almost like a butterfly effect. Yoko influences other characters and changes the direction of the story, ultimately creating this new Vengeance version of the game.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Going into this, I had the unique experience of already having played the original on the Switch, and that sounds like it would make for a boring experience, but actually this new story feels so fresh, with loads of little new twists and changes, it keeps me on my toes. There was a few moments where I had expectations to be doing something or fighting a really tough boss. There's one I'm thinking of, and as I'm approaching this boss, out of nowhere, another bigger boss jumps in, murders the original boss from the original game, and I have to fight an even larger, tougher boss with a banging soundtrack to boot. It's been awesome.
For what purpose have you come here?
Something else new with Vengeance are the addition of the Qadistu. These are 4 female demons that will hunt and harass you through a large portion of the game. And just reading the wiki entry on these Qadistu, all 4 core members are named after the 4 angels of sacred prostitution, who have been mated with Samael. The injection of these 4 villains into the Vengeance story really levels up the story and excitement. You'll start bumping into these Qadistu from very early on, and you just know there's gotta be an epic showdown with all 4 at once.
Why not join us and embrace freedom?
Quickie, here on Peter Bytes cover RPGs, bit of Final Fantasy, but my Shin Megami Tensei review is so late because I don't get review copies like other big organisations, some of who don't even finish a game's main campaign before they review it. I want to level up my subscriber count, get noticed, and earn review copies. So any subs or likes are an amazing help. Thank you. Okay, let's get down to the gameplay. So you get to explore semi-linear regions. You've got to follow the story, but there's plenty of stuff to explore and discover on the side. You'll Naruto run everywhere because it's scientifically proven that if you just put your arms out like an aeroplane, you'll actually move faster.
Believe it!
There's a little bit of pseudo 3D platforming with navigating and climbing city ruins. It's pretty good. The more annoying areas to navigate are in the original campaign, and those areas don't exist in the Vengeance campaign. There's also the addition of these Magat-Shui rails you can discover and grind to secret areas, or they'll act as shortcuts. I enjoyed fully exploring every nook and cranny and hunting down collectibles. Collectibles aren't too hard to find, you won't need to look up any guides, and once you've progressed each region, you can even buy in-game map markers for the main collectible, which I always appreciate when going for 100%.
All yours. For a small fee, of course.
The game's core is RPG customization and turn-based combat, which it excels at.
Ruinous thunder!
this is going to be your first Shin Megami Tensei game, you might have to rise to the challenge, but that said, I feel this Vengeance version of the game is easier than the original, and it includes lots of little quality of life improvements. That said, I still died a few times, and one minor criticism I would have with the Vengeance version is the lack of an autosave feature. I learned this the hard way after I died and lost about an hour of progress. You can't save anywhere, but I made the assumption there would be autosaving, like every other modern game. So, turn-based combat is all about learning your enemy's weaknesses and then exploiting it with those kinds of attacks.
It's killing time!
Fighting a dark demon boss, you can customize yourself with the essence of a demon that is resistant to the darkness, and maybe recruit some angels that specialize in light magic.
Light!
It's quite satisfying discovering and exploiting each type of enemy, and this is your personal army of demons.
How cool is that?
One addition with Vengeance is the Demon Haunt, where you can even rest and check in with a lot of the demons you've recruited.
Hey!
You can even give each other gifts, just adding another layer to that personalization. I always want to say that the game is like Pokemon, but that's kind of an insult to Shin Megami Tensei. This is much more advanced, mature, and this franchise existed 4 years before the very first Pokemon game. There's 273 demons to recruit. Believe me, I had to make a checklist to try and figure out what I was missing. You'll primarily recruit demons to your side by talking to them in combat and negotiating with them. You might have a bit of banter back and forth, they might request items, sometimes they'll call you a shit stain and tell you where to go. It's quite a unique system and some of the demon dialogue is pretty funny. Especially when you're dealing with some weirder demons like the Predator, or as I call them, the Purple PP Men.
Just think you can snatch away our prey?
Belagor, the Toilet Demon. Turbo Granny, who runs around the streets of Tokyo at high speeds.
Think you can keep up?
And the quite unique Mara. Just look at where its attacks come from. And of course, it's level 69 by default.
Nice.
User interface isn't quite as snazzy as the Persona series, but I'm content with it. Plenty of side quests and endgame bosses to challenge yourself with. Yeah, a lot of the side quests are your more typical fetch quests, with little mini-bosses which I quite enjoyed. I'm always saying a game ran pretty good on the Steam Deck. Well, SMT V Vengeance has been exceptional, and being a turn-based JRPG, it's a perfect fit and I've put countless hours in on my Steam Deck. It's been flawless. I generally play the main story on my PC, then do a lot of the side stuff on my Steam Deck. So talking about the story and characters a little bit, you're in this post-apocalyptic Tokyo overrun by demons, and you'll eventually be reunited with some of your classmates. And speaking of characters as a whole, I was genuinely intrigued by a lot of their motives and personal journeys.
With certainty comes strength.
Everyone has their own vision of what they want to do, and depending upon the decisions you make, these characters could become allies or enemies. One of the major criticisms of the original game was that some characters don't get enough time in the spotlight. They're just missing from a large part of the story. Vengeance definitely improves upon this, especially with your classmate Yuzuru.
Totally! We're buddies! Yuzuru! So it's only right you call me Ichiro then.
Okay, the road to 100% completion. This required all the possible endings, all the collectibles, all the super bosses, godborn difficulty, and recruiting every possible demon. I played through the game 6.5 times.
Hey, you heading back alone?
Now, there is a new game plus that allows you to carry over all your progress, which makes repeat playthroughs a lot easier, and by the end of the 5th playthrough, I was very well prepared for the godborn difficulty run. For me, getting that 100% demon compendium was definitely the most challenging aspect. As I was getting close to 100%, I was struggling to find the last few demons, and being so early after release there wasn't any guides or proper checklists, I was starting to stress that maybe I'd need the day 1 DLC to get 100%. Well, I can confirm you don't need that DLC, and the 2 final demons I was missing could only be acquired through fusion accidents. Basically, fusion is another system where you can fuse 2 demons together to create new types of demons. and there's a chance it goes wrong and you get a random demon. Huge relief when I got these final two. Alright, time to score Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance and find out how many petabytes this is gonna get.
I shall reduce you to ash, along with everything else.
Brilliant modern JRPG, challenging turn-based combats. Love the demon negotiation system, as well as recruiting and managing your demons. It's everything I want in a turn-based RPG. Story and characters are great. Love the addition of Yoko, whose very existence influences and changes the direction of the story and gives us this new Vengeance campaign. Loads of awesome bosses, and the addition of the Qadistu really makes the story more exciting from start to finish. You're getting both the Vengeance campaign as well as the original. While in my opinion Vengeance is better than the original, I can't entirely recommend putting in the effort for 100% completion. I do recommend playing the original campaign as well, just to see how everyone's fate changes, and I believe my favourite music piece is also exclusive to that original campaign as a bonus. I played on both PC and Steam Deck, never crashed in over 120 hours of playtime. I quite liked the original Shin Megami Tensei V on Switch and never gave it a score. In my mind it was somewhere between 8.5 and maybe 9 out of 10. This Vengeance version really levels it up. I'm giving this 90 petabytes. Alright, peace for now.